The biggest mistake in leadership in the age of AI is not letting machines make decisions, but letting humans stop taking responsibility. Today, I'll show you 3 hidden shifts that decide whether AI makes leaders stronger or makes them disappear. Imagine Daniel, a respected manager who built his authority through experience and instinct. For years, people trusted his judgment. But now his company has an AI system that predicts sales, ranks employees, detects risks, and recommends strategy before he even opens his laptop. Daniel smiles in the meeting, but inside he feels threatened. If the machine knows more than me, what am I still here for? Psychologically, this is fear of status loss. People do not protect only their job. They protect the identity attached to it. When someone is valued for knowing more, deciding faster, or controlling information, AI can feel like an attack on their place in the group. You see this with GPS. The app may know the fastest route, but it does not know if the road feels unsafe, if you are exhausted, or if arriving calmly matters more than arriving quickly. The algorithm gives direction. The human gives meaning. And this is the first secret. Weak leaders were often just information controllers. Strong leaders were always interpreters. They turn data into judgment and judgment into courage. But when data becomes available to everyone, a darker question appears. What happens when the machine is right, but the people in the room are emotionally destroyed by its answer? Now, picture a team meeting. An AI system recommends killing a project. The numbers are clean. Too expensive, too slow, too uncertain. The screen looks calm and surgical. But people are not numbers. One employee looks down because she gave the project a year of her life. Another crosses his arms because he feels judged. Someone else wants to speak, but stops because arguing with the data feels irrational. This is where emotional intelligence becomes more important than artificial intelligence. AI can detect patterns, but it does not truly understand humiliation, pride, disappointment, hope, or the fear of being replaced. A leader who says, "The algorithm has spoken," may be efficient for 5 minutes and destructive for 5 months. Psychologically, people do not follow decisions only because they are logical. They follow when they feel respected inside the process. The brain cares about fairness, belonging, status, and whether effort was seen. When a decision threatens someone's role, people do not simply ask, "Is this correct?" They ask, "Do I still matter here?" Think about receiving an automated rejection email. It may be polite, but it feels cold because there is no human recognition behind it. Now imagine a leader saying, "The numbers show this project cannot continue, but I know what you built. We are not throwing your effort away. We are moving your talent where it can win." The decision may be the same, but the emotional impact is completely different. That difference is leadership. In the age of AI, the leader becomes responsible for the emotional cost of machine-generated answers. And here is the twist. The most robotic leader will not look strong. He will look unnecessary. But if the leader only repeats the system, who takes responsibility when the system makes a decision no one can explain? Imagine Sarah, an executive whose company uses AI to decide which customers receive offers, which accounts are risky, and which complaints deserve attention. For months, results improve. Then one loyal customer is treated unfairly. Sarah asks why. The technical team checks the dashboard, opens the model, studies the variables, and the answer becomes blurry. The system made a prediction, but no one can translate it into human language. Psychologically, trust depends on clarity. People can accept difficult decisions more easily when they understand the reasoning behind them. But when a decision feels mysterious, even a good outcome can create suspicion. The brain does not like invisible power. If something affects our job, money, health, reputation, or future, we want to know why. That is why leaders in the AI era must become translators between invisible systems and human consequences. They do not need to explain every line of code, but they must explain the principle. What was the system optimizing for? What data did it use? What can be challenged? And what happens when it is wrong? And here is the loop. The more powerful AI becomes, the more dangerous blind confidence becomes. Sometimes the mistake looks clean, professional, and mathematically convincing. It looks so intelligent that nobody dares to question it. And this is where leadership faces its deepest test. Machines can calculate, but they cannot carry moral guilt. Imagine a hospital using AI to identify which patients are at higher risk. The promise sounds beautiful. Faster diagnosis, better prioritization, more lives saved. But hidden inside the system is data from an imperfect world. Maybe some groups were historically undertreated. Maybe certain symptoms were recorded more often for some patients than others. Maybe old prejudice is now disguised as statistics. This is one of the biggest challenges of AI leadership. Optimization is not morality. A system can optimize for profit, speed, accuracy, productivity, or cost reduction. But it does not automatically understand dignity, compassion, justice, loyalty, or context. Those values must be chosen and defended by humans. Psychologically, we are vulnerable to automation bias. When a computer gives an answer, we often assume it is more objective than a human judgment. The chart looks professional. The percentage looks scientific. And because the answer appears mathematical, the leader may feel innocent. I did not decide this. The system did. But that sentence may become one of the most dangerous excuses of the modern workplace. Think about a hiring tool that filters resumes. It may save time, but if it quietly favors certain universities, keywords, or career paths, it can reject talented people before a human ever sees them. The leader can not only ask, "Is this efficient?" The leader must ask, "Who could be invisible to this system? Who could be harmed? What kind of person does this machine fail to recognize?" The frightening part is that unethical AI decisions will not always look cruel. They may look organized, polished, and confident. That is why the strongest leaders will be brave enough to interrupt the machine and ask, "What are we not seeing?" But once you ask that, you find another uncomfortable truth. AI does not only change decisions. It changes behavior before the decision even happens. Now imagine a company where every movement is measured. AI tracks response time, sales calls, customer satisfaction, meeting participation, emotional tone and messages, and even how quickly employees reply after hours. At first, productivity rises. Reports become cleaner. But slowly, employees stop experimenting. They avoid risky ideas. They write messages to sound safe. They start performing productivity instead of creating value. This is where culture becomes the battlefield. AI can measure behavior, but measurement changes behavior. When people know they are constantly scored, they adapt to the score. They may become excellent at looking productive while becoming less creative, less honest, and less alive. Psychologically, humans need autonomy. When every action becomes a metric, the workplace can feel like a game where the goal is not mastery. The goal becomes, do not lose points. And when people are afraid to lose points, they stop doing the invisible things that make teams strong. Asking hard questions, admitting uncertainty, helping a colleague, or taking creative risks. A wise leader uses AI as a flashlight, not as a prison. A flashlight reveals what was hidden, who is overloaded, where communication breaks down, which process wastes time, and which team needs support. A prison uses visibility to create fear. The difference is not the technology. The difference is the intention behind it. And here is the twist. Companies that use AI only to control people may become efficient in the short term, but emotionally empty in the long term. People may comply, but they will not commit. But what do people need to believe in when the machine already has the plan? Imagine a future leader entering a room after AI has already produced the forecast, the risk analysis, and the recommended strategy. Everyone knows what the system suggests. There is no mystery left in the data. And yet, the room still waits for the leader to speak. Why? Because people do not only need answers. They need interpretation. They need someone to connect the decision to a purpose. AI can say, this is the most efficient path. But leadership asks, is this the right path for who we want to become? That question involves identity, values, sacrifice, timing, and meaning. Psychologically, Human beings are meaning-making creatures. We can endure difficulty when we understand why it matters. We can accept change when we feel part of the story. We can face uncertainty when someone makes the chaos survivable. Without meaning, even a smart strategy feels cold. With meaning, even a difficult transition can feel like a mission. This is why leadership is not disappearing. It is being stripped down. The mechanical parts are being automated. Collecting data, comparing options, predicting risks, summarizing trends. What remains is harder to fake. Courage, judgment, empathy, character, and the ability to move people through instability. And here is the final secret. If AI removes the easy parts of leadership, it exposes who is only pretending. Leaders who relied on information control may lose power. Leaders who relied on fear may lose loyalty. But leaders who build trust, protect values, explain complexity, and make people feel human may become more important than ever. So what happens when machines take decisions? Leaders do not vanish. Leadership gets purified. AI takes away the illusion that leadership is just knowing more, deciding faster, or having the biggest title in the room. What remains is the part machines cannot truly own: responsibility for people. The future may not belong to the person who knows more than AI. It may belong to the person who knows how to work with AI without becoming cold, passive, or morally blind. The strongest leader will be the one who can look at the algorithm, understand a recommendation, and still have the courage to ask, is this not only smart, but also human? Because in the end, a machine can calculate a future, but a leader helps people walk toward it without losing themselves. If this video made you think differently about the future of work, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments. Would you trust an artificial intelligence to make important decisions about your job, your money, or your future?